we should be good.
Should be.
We should be good.
We should be good. Are you sure? Are you sure?
I think so. I think all the prep has hopefully gone to plan. Oh, yeah, I can hear us. Midlife.
Mm-hmm.
Gaming
Hi,
Legends.
guys.
Twitch, for some reason, hasn't renamed the bloody thing properly. How you doing? Arch Enemy. Salsa is here. Midlife. A Hobbit. Lord Necton. Tim Walker. Marvellous. Paradise. How's it going, man? You alright? So, everyone.
Best wishes to paradise.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to the VR link. And thank you for joining us. My name's GT from Gamertag VR. To my left is Salsa Ketchup from Salsa Ketchup VR. And to my right is Nat from 7 Degrees of Gaming. Thank you guys for joining us today. And, yeah, man, like usual, we got loads of like VR gaming stuff and a bit of news to talk about. Just want to bring up what I saw in the chat from Paradise. If you could add something to me, why the VR roundtable is stopping. Didn't really understand that when I heard that news. So, but yeah, good to see you all.
Definitely. Thanks for the invite again.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
It's
Doing
awesome.
the tappity at the start, looking at the chat. We've got other people in here. A Hobbit, the Game Cat.
Nice. How you then, Sal? So how's your week been? You all right? The X-Falcon, how's it going?
Bit different. Start the week down the hospital again for my nosy stuff. So the good news on that is that maybe soon, whenever probably a few months, I'll be in an operation for my nose, and maybe I won't sound so bunged up all the time, which would be great.
I thought it was just your mic. I thought your mic sounded that way.
No, I actually have like nasal polyps, so I'll have like surgery and stuff for all my nose and my sinuses and bleh.
The thing is, right, there's a guy at my work, he's got polyps. This is completely non-VR related, so let's just get this stuff out of the way, right?
Yeah.
He had to have an operation, and it made it worse, right? And but he said when he come out of it, he felt amazing for a couple of hours, and then it sounded like he was whistling. Like, I'd imagine if the things go wrong or it doesn't... aren't you worried that when you breathe, you'll whistle?
No, I mean, I've already had the operation once before because nasal polyps, there's no permanent cure.
Right.
So I've already had an operation once before, which was over 10 years ago. And my nose was completely locked off on one side. I had other issues there. So they cut different bits of bone away from inside your head and all sorts of stuff there. And just was such a relief. Because I also have huge amounts of pressure that builds up on my ears, which is not great if it goes down when you're playing VR and you can't breathe or something else like that.
Yeah, dude.
But it does mean like I can get cut back on some of the steroid things and stuff like that, so that it won't be as intense.
Excellent.
It helps a lot. So it'll be good.
Cool, man. What did you play this week?
What did I play? There's a couple of things. Spider-Man, obviously, big surprise. I know we're going to go into that because we all played that.
Yeah, dude.
I played Penn and Teller, FU and U. I played a load of simulator stuff, basically. So I've been in my flight sims on the PC side.
Yeah, dude. I saw the title, which immediately just stank of tech. Like,
yeah,
trying to hit 120 frames per second stream. I was like, or whatever. I was like, oh wow. I have no idea what that means. What about you, Nat? How's your week been? You been all right? What have you been playing?
It's been interesting to say the least. In terms of playing, a bit like Salsa, I've been playing Spider-Man. It's been nice to have something that make me go wee. On top of that, Sairento VR for the Oculus Quest, which I know we're going to discuss later, and has definitely made my week very interesting with some of the comments I've received about that one. Also, VR related, the only other thing I've played was the Anne Frank House VR experience, which again we'll go into, and honestly, anyone that owns a Quest has to download that experience.
So while we're here, I did check the Discord. There was nothing in there this week, I don't think. So let's just hello Scooby Dave.
DLG27's got a question for us.
Splitter S, how you doing, man? I met this guy on Fireball the other day. It was the only plus of playing Fireball, and they were fantastic. So, but no, unfortunately not. Maybe Friday, if I still play the game, if it works. Mike Selector, GL27, JD Max, Lord Nectons, Bruce Kelly Fries. How's it going, guys? Thank you ever so much for joining. What was the question, Nat?
DL's asked, have any of you done the Quest sideloading? I assume it's VR thing where you stream from PC VR to Quest. I haven't.
So
I can't answer that.
He's on about desktop VR.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. So the sideloading side quest thing, as far as I know, is something a bit different. It's like I managed to put Quake on there. We was talking about it just for the stream actually. Nat was saying about a video I did where you can put Quake on the Quest and other things. There's lots of other things that have been added to that now, as far as I know. Yes, we've done it. Salsa, have you done it? I imagine you have. You've probably...
I've tried to stream PC side across, but it doesn't work well if you don't have a 5 gigahertz network, which I don't have in the house. I don't have a 5 gigahertz network, so it's not something that I look to really do until they make it wired.
Right.
If you can do the Quest wired when you're at home, then I'd be all over that.
Yeah, well, when the Quest was coming about, people were hoping that it was a detachable headset, weren't they? They was hoping that you could plug it into your PC, use the power of the PC if you had it, and then go mobile VR without. So yeah,
it would be a hybrid, and I would be like, yeah, definitely. If you could do a hybrid, I'd be all over that because the resolution on the Quest is better than the Rift.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think it always really stands out to me. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question there. Basically, it's a bit of a no. So really, so I've done a little bit of it. I've not done streaming of the Quest stuff. So let's start talking about
games.
Games, and start talking about Spider-Man Far From Home. And now I'm going to let you start this one. Like, what you thought of this. And what did you play it on as well? Because obviously it was on the Rift.
Well, I played it on PlayStation VR. Obviously, I was very, 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 very unhappy with Spider-Man Homecoming. Really didn't like it at all. Literally, everyone had to go at me, why are you getting so mad? It's a free experience. I said, well, the only two things I ever want from a Spider-Man game or an experience is I want two simple things. I want to be able to web swing. I want to be able to wall crawl. Far From Home gave me both of those things.
Yeah.
So I had an absolute blast. I had a smile on my face for the entire time that I was playing it. Even when I was screwing it up and doing things wrong, didn't bother me. I still had a smile on my face. And when I finished my stream, I carried on playing it for about an hour. I was just doing the free roam. I wasn't even doing any of the little side bits, combat missions and stuff like that. Didn't do any of that. I literally spent 1 hour just swinging around buildings, running up buildings, running around buildings for an absolute hour. For me, that is now for a VR experience, it's now the one thing I know that if I come in from work or anything and I'm peed off, I'm upset, I can put that on and within a few minutes, my mood will completely change. Yeah. I've got normal games, like I've got things like Journey and Flower that I put on normally, that again, if I'm in a really bad mood, I'll put those on because I know those experiences will change my mood very, very quickly. Yeah. But this is, I think, the very first VR experience that I would say would allow me to do that. Is it perfect? No, of course it's not. But for a free experience, it's a great surprise, and it's just so much fun.
What about you, Salsa? What did you think of it?
I thought it was brilliant. I mean, I totally agree with that, right? We've got a Salsa game. I keep on saying, why am I saying that? If you've got a Spider-Man game, the one thing that you want, if you go to a developer, I want one thing. I want to swing from webs. I want to sling those webs out and swing through the city like a crazy man. And that's what you got to do. I mean, I just put up like Powers United, Marvel Powers United. That's got Spider-Man in it. That's a full-paid game. I haven't bought that game because I know you sling your web out and it's a teleport.
Right.
It's like Spider-Man. You had one job. If you messed that one job up, it's not Spider-Man. Whereas this free demo has done it.
Yeah.
It's done it. That's the holy grail of Spider-Man. That's what you do. You swing from buildings and all of that. That's all you needed. And they do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, brilliant. I had such great fun with it.
I would definitely say there are some others, but I would say it is one of the biggest highlights of the week, and I'd basically agree with the pair here. It is one of the best free VR experiences I think you can have. I did try it on PC as well, and if you have got PC VR, because people were saying like it looked a bit underpopulated on the PC, you can add more population, more people, more cars, things like that in the options. There seems to be an option, but either way, dude, like I played it on the PlayStation and streamed it. The second I started running down that road in the beginning, I was like, "Oh crap! Like this is going to be bloody good." Do you know what I mean? And then I jumped, and that first initial jump, man, off that ramp, I'm sort of now thinking that might be a fantastic like second to third new person experience. Do you know what I'm saying? Like running and jumping. I know it's a big thing, but running and jumping off that building, dude, I was like.
It was good.
My smile wasn't big enough. Do you know what I'm saying? My face, it can't be big enough. I just want to check the chat again because obviously we've got some new people in here. But yeah.
Got a new member.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. That's marvellous. I love his little symbol there. That's cool. Tim Walker, GL27. How's it going? Excellent stuff. I think hello, DJ, Mikey Sensei. JD, the forest will be happening, dude. The forest will be happening again. A lot of people seem to really like that stream, and I didn't understand it. Christopher Hart, excellent. You do need to jump in at DX Falcon. He played through Far From Home earlier today. Pretty much only VR time this week. It was amazing fun. Swinging felt a bit off, but it was real. Yes, it's absolutely brilliant, and it's free. Yeah, Scooby Dave, Mad Rush, Mrs GT. Thank you very much. You alright, Stephen? How's it going? TGK2, excellent. Yeah, like. Talking of free experiences, we might as well go on to Anne as well now because I mean it sort of makes sense to go that way. So I'm gonna go with Nat on this one because again, if you don't mind, because I know how much is meant to him by the sounds of it. So talk me through it, man. Talk me through what you thought.
Well, I got to be honest. I should have played it Thursday. I wanted to play Sairento though. That boy was that a mistake. So I finally got round to playing using the VR app today. So the Anne Frank house. Anyone that's ever gone to school in the UK, I don't know about America, but when you're like 13, 14, you're given the Anne Frank diary to read. For two reasons. First of all, it is an important document to read about history, but I think it is a very affecting when you're that age because literally she's that age, so you can put yourself in her position. Now, as for the VR experience, I didn't want to stream that. I did want it to be a very personal experience for myself. That's why I didn't do any stream of that particular one, and it was exactly everything I thought it was the young girl that they got to voice Anne Frank. I thought she did an absolutely fantastic job, and honestly there was so many heartbreaking moments walking around that house because literally you are walking around the annex that they were in, so you're getting everything in there, the size that these 8 people had to live in this small little area. But you also get like things like the one bit that I think broke my heart most of all was there's a bit where you go up to a radio and turn it on and it's the BBC radio.
Yeah.
And it's talking about the invasion, the D-Day landings. And literally, obviously, it's taken from the diary. And I do actually remember this bit in the diary as well, from many, many years ago, where Anne Frank, it's one of the first times in the diary where there's actually hope in her voice. And it's just heartbreaking because you know the outcome of it. And at that point, I started to really tear up badly. And that wasn't the last time during this experience where I did tear up. So I thought I think it's an experience that if you own an Oculus Quest is demanded to be downloaded and experienced. I really do. It's important from a historical context. And I say I want to give the developer Focus something, I can't remember the name, I do apologize. I want to give them all the credit in the world because they gave it away free because I think they realize how important this experience is because the only way we ever learn from history is learning about history.
Yeah, and just
so we don't repeat it.
Say, I think the Quest is the only one that has 6 degrees of freedom as well. I don't think on the Rift, someone said to me, even on the Rift, they don't have that. So and I know a lot of you who are on PSVR who want things to come to PSVR. As I said, the reason I back the Quest so much is because it is an affordable way of trying other VR experiences and other games. So that's the reason I back it so much, is because it's affordable, it's fantastic, it's mobile, the games are good. So that's why, like, I know a lot of you want it on PSVR, but if you do get a Quest and that's it, if you have got one, definitely check it out. I've got I'm going to get my daughter to try it out as well, because I mean that if she doesn't know much about it, that definitely spark her interest into the story of it. I saw Sousa sort of nod his head a little bit when I said about the 6 degrees of freedom. This is just something that someone told me off Reddit. They basically said to me, the Quest is the only way you can freely move, because it's on the go as well, isn't it? You can't move.
Yeah, I'm shocked at that. I thought that also it would be that way on PC VR side.
Oh, definitely should. I'd have assumed. I just assumed it was a port. So
it's one I haven't done. It's on my to-do list because I do think that all of these educational ones, some of these ones, particularly the Second World War, is just on the edge of going out of living memory. And it's a very, very poignant moment in the last century that changed the world forever. And a lot of things, especially with current world events and political situations, people look at and go, hang on. And it's important that we gain understanding of what happened in the past to not repeat mistakes.
Yeah.
And one of the ways, just reading about history, though it can be motivational, it very much depends a little bit more on a person. But I do think that when you put a person into a virtual simulation of history, from the perspective of somebody that was there with the original sounds, or based on the original writing, with the full-on scenery from the actual places, that has a much bigger impact on a person knowing this is something from actual history. This is something that actually happened.
Yeah.
And gives them a much, much better feel for what the world was like at that time, what it was like to live that experience. And I think that's something that a lot of people should take away from things like that. I think it's one of the major advantages that, or one of the major things that VR can teach us. Outside of playing games and everything else like that, VR can be an amazing, amazing vehicle to teach us lessons about the world.
Yeah.
100% agree.
I really hope that more, and someone else said this as well, I really hope more things like this happen to Quest, because I always thought virtuality would be great for training, an example, in the workplace. I think that's going to be another thing that's going to happen in the future. I was even talking to one of my friends who's got a business about possibly doing a 360 experience of going on the railway, for example, because that's what we do. That's what we do in a safety way. You could do that. You could sort of show people what it's like to be on track, what trains, the speed they're coming out. I know it's not full in VR, but it would definitely give you more of an insight into the dangers of it, rather than just sitting in a classroom talking about it or watching a video. Having that full 360 thing is another step forward. So, but so if you've got the ability to check Anne Frank's House VR out, definitely do that. So once again, no, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do? How I'm gonna do this?
Don't start me on this one.
But I want to. I want to.
You can't. You two have got to do it, and then I'll come in.
All right. Okay.
You two have to do this.
Well, no, because I can't come in on this one because.
All right, I'll leave
I don't care. You can still have an opinion.
I can say about the PC side, but I can't say about untethered.
Okay, so how's it going? Let me check the chat again. All you guys coming through, thank you ever so much. Decepticon, I'm sure we said hello to A Hobbit already. Thank you. Fez69, what's up? We had some people. They didn't come up on my phone, but we had Durban Brown on Twitch. Thank you ever so much for dropping in. Let me get the
We had
Twitch
next
stream up.
turn around saying that he's going to download the Anne Frank experience now. So
superb!
fantastic,
Yeah,
man.
it's definitely
So it is
definitely worth it.
amazing experience, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Let me get up here. Don't know where the chat is. I can't find my stream. There it is.
Yeah.
Excellent
Yeah.
stuff. So let's go on Sairento. What I'm going to do, right? I'm going to give you a brief stages of where I think Sairento is, right, on all platforms for me, which is PC VR, PSVR, and the Quest, right? And I've played all three. Now, I think PCVR is the best version. Like, that is the best version of the game. But ever so close to that, and I mean ever so close when I was playing it, is on the PlayStation VR. It was surprisingly brilliant. I was smiling all the time. How they got those move controllers to work so well was incredible. And I wouldn't have known while playing it. Maybe graphically a little bit, there's a bit of softness there, but as you know, once a game drags you in and the experience is there, the graphics sort of you don't care about them so much. I always notice graphics in a VR game first of all, and then they blend away as the gameplay takes over. And Sairento on the PlayStation VR done that for me. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It was great with the rudder as well. But you don't, once again, I don't think the rudder's is essential. It doesn't. I wouldn't say it enhances the experience, but it makes it a different way of playing, and it's also a good way of playing. So, and also you can pick it up physically. So you haven't got this already. Check out Perp Games. I think it comes out physically on the same day as digitally in Europe, which is the 5th.
It does with there's a still case version as well.
Yeah, Madman got it, dude.
Signing the inlay sleeve as well.
Yeah, Madman got it. He put it on the Discord and it looked absolutely fantastic. Personally, after playing this, I did receive a code for it. Thank you ever so much to Mixed Realms for that. I would actually, knowing how I feel about it now, buy this as a physical edition because it's roughly the same price as the digital, so you might as well. I think it looks fantastic. And I think July the 9th is the NA regions and the physical version is July 30th. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer if you're in the NA region. But yeah, I also played it on the Quest. I would say that is the light version of the game and the least good version of the game. Which I'm going to lead into.
We're triggering something there. We're triggering.
So let's go on. Let's go to Nat's thoughts on the Quest.
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I kind of gave it a bit of a chance at the beginning, but the more and more I played it, I just kept getting more and more frustrated. It's the video that I've got the most hate about in a long time about something that I've played. I had a load of people saying, well, you don't know what you're doing when you're playing it. I had another person saying, well, you should play it for a couple of hours so you know what you're doing before you start playing it, even though my video was a first impressions video. You know, it is my first impressions. That literally the 50 minutes that video lasts is my first and only 50 minutes with that game. I have now got a refund. Thank you, Oculus, for having a fantastic refund policy. So, yeah, as I say, initially it was the controls. It was like, well, I've used PSVR enough, so the teleportation controls are what they were. I didn't realize that there was an actual proper movement control system that you could have with it as well. There was and that's on the developer as far as I'm concerned, because you gave me an intro to show me what I was meant to do, and at no point did you turn around and say, oh, by the way, there's other options for movement options.
Do you know what, to be fair, like when Sairento first come out, and PCVR is obviously around before my time in a way. Like PlayStation VR, we were quite catered to. Things were quite simple. On PlayStation VR, like on PCVR, the amount of options in Sairento, I saw in our chat, Brian Paul was like, how do you free loco after he played it? Obviously, the only reason I knew the controls to do is because of PCVR, because I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out what does that mean. Like, that isn't just free locomotion. They're not the easiest. It's not the easiest game to set up to how you want to play it. That's for sure. It really isn't. And
it's the same.
yeah, and there's a lot of options on there, and there is differences between the PlayStation VR and the PC VR version. For example, on the Oculus Quest and Oculus Rift, you can have a third weapon behind your back. On PlayStation VR, you can't because of forward-facing tracking. There's another one as well. I don't think you can crouch on the PlayStation to slide. It's activated by the square button on the left move controller. As on PC VR and the Quest, you can choose. It's an option that you can crouch and it will slide. So into the moves, but yeah,
you can also set individual little bits like how far you need to crouch, which is a big comfort thing. Because I'm kind of tall, and if you play like say Beat Saber, you have to do different things to get under the obstacles.
Yeah,
and that can be really, really bad if you're tall and trying to play Beat Saber. Whereas that thing to be able to set those options, but there are so many options that it's a difficult one.
Have you seen what they're doing in the chat? Nah.
No.
I'm sitting there, man.
I'll carry on with my experience anyway. So, like I said, I'm playing it. I'm like, okay, it's teleportation.
You're getting roasted.
Teleportation isn't working half the time. Literally, I'm teleporting. I'm hitting the edge of a platform and falling back down. It's like, what? Hold on, the teleportation arc is showing that I'm going to be fine, and I'm hitting a wall. So that started frustrating me. Oh. The worst bit, and this is the bit where I started to completely lose it and get so angry, was the hit detection. It is all over the show. Right. There's bits where I literally had the sword where I was just holding it like that, teleported into a bit, and like the guy walked into me and exploded into a ball of gore. And it's like, I didn't hit him. That was fantastic. Whoopee. And there's other bits where literally the guy's in front of me and I'm swinging the thing. Like, one of the complaints I had is, you're trying to, why are you looking like a cat trying to scratch somebody when you're hitting the swords? And that's because I'm in front of somebody and I'm trying to hit the sword. The sword isn't attacking. So at this point, I'm freaking out. And literally, I'm looking like a cat going like this with the swords, hoping that something would happen.
Is that when you smashed your hand up?
And I also smashed my hand up and literally... You can't, I cracked it.
Don't. I thought he was going to go into the language. There's bad language.
There's a lot of swear words that came in a thing.
Standing by. We got like a beep.
No, I've got a beep. I haven't got it on here, but yeah, I've got a beep.
I'm sure somebody's gone into Twitch because you can make little clips of people's videos. I'm sure somebody was.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were watching the stream at the same time.
I think.
Have they? Oh,
so one of the things
I'm
well...
like effing and blinding, and also what also annoyed me actually is for the very first time Guardian failed me because the Guardian system didn't come up when I smacked my hand. Every other time I normally get Guardian come up left, right, center, and I did. I don't have any issues, but this time the Guardian system didn't actually come up when I went to I think slice the guy, and that's when I smacked my hand. And initially, it took like a few seconds for it to think. I knew I'd hit me, and then it took a few seconds where it's just like, that really hurts. Oh, yes, that really hurts an awful lot. So, I was doing that. So, yeah, I cursed out. And I was just like, at the end of it, I was just like, F this game. I'm done. I'm getting a refund. So, I literally finished the stream. I was just like, I'm not playing this anymore. I think I actually said it at the end of the stream. It's like, I've got a ton of games behind me that are really good that I haven't played. Why the hell am I going to waste any more time on this piece of crap? I'm done. I'm getting a refund. So, I put my refund in. I haven't got my money back, although I'm definitely getting the refund because it's disappeared from my library now, the game.
Yeah.
It's now offering me the chance to buy it again at $10.99. Like I'm actually going to do that. Yes, my controller is okay, Paradise.
Do you know what? Right, so when I streamed it, unfortunately, and I find this really difficult when developers don't send you the price of what they're sending you, because the first thing people are going to ask you, and I would as well, how much is this, please? Like, and if a developer doesn't give me that information, and
it's worldwide as well. It's the regional thing.
Yeah, and not even a ballpark figure though. If they had said to me this game's $10.99, like my play of it, how I played it and how it was, apart from the accelerated flip. So in Sairento VR, I've been played it before. When you do your arc jump, you can also double jump. If you put your hands up, you can flip. Yeah, that creates a flip motion. And what you can do in the menu, you can choose to accelerate to the, I don't know, whatever the point of the flip is, where you're upside down, and then time slows down, right? That's what you want on all the time. Yeah, and on PC and on PlayStation VR, it works perfectly. Jump, boss. You are upside down, and you are looking absolutely wicked. But on the Quest, it didn't. On the Quest, it would flip forward, and then all of a sudden accelerate me back to stand up straight. And I was like, well, that's crap. And I'm falling to the floor again. So that was the only real downfall that I come across personally. But I thought for $10.99, I'd still check it out for $10.99 personally.
Well, I had an interesting thing. Like I say, I got a lot of crap for this, and you know, at the end of the day, the game is my opinion. If somebody's gone out and bought the Oculus Quest version and is having a whale of a time with it, is having a fantastic time, I'm absolutely ecstatic about that, because they've managed to get some fun out of that game that I didn't.
Yeah.
And I'll never knock them for that. But I had this one guy on my chat, and he kept replying to me. Initially, he was like, you don't know what you're doing. How dare you put a Let's Play up? And it's like, well, it's my channel. I'll do what I want. And it's a Let's Play first impression. You gave it a bad review. No, I don't do reviews. And anybody that watches my channel knows I very rarely do reviews. It's a first impression. He then had a go that it was a first impression, but I didn't know what I was doing. It's like, well, you should have played it for a couple of hours before I started my first impression. It's like, well, that's not a first impression then.
Yeah.
The whole point of a first impression is, if I don't understand what I'm doing, you're seeing that live as I'm doing it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, as a preference over a lot of times, say, I do a lot of first impressions as well. And apart from sometimes at the beginning where I might go, here's the options screen, make sure it looks good. Are there some options that I know I want to look through first of all, and just make sure the game plays like literally, and then go straight back to the beginning and then stream? That's the only time when I actually do something more at the beginning before actually playing the game. Because literally, like you said, a first impression, you want to, I want to, if I watch my own video back, I want to see the look on my face as what it's like. If it's a good game, then it gets all the looks where I go, oh, yeah, and all this stuff. If it's crap, then it gets the, yeah, type of thing. You know, it gives an honest impression of what you feel about something. And I think that's one of the things that goes with these things.
Yeah, I don't know how someone got that mixed up for you.
Yeah. Anyway, so I carried on. Like I say, this must have gone on for about 4 conversations, and then because he was replying within a few minutes of me posting my comment, and then I didn't hear anything for, I would say, about 6-7 hours from my last reply to him. And I was like, okay, well, you know, he's left it now. Fair enough. And then I got another message pop up, bing, another message from this guy. And I'm like, oh, great. So what have I done wrong now? And I looked at it, and the first thing is, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry. And literally what he'd done is he'd gone out and brought the game. Played the game. Hated the bloody game. Most of the issues I had with the game, he also got with the issues with the game.
Yeah.
And he actually turned around and he was like, I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. And what he had done is, obviously this is a game he was looking forward to. Hell, I was looking forward to it. And it was really, really disappointing for him. And he also said, well, like, I got a refund. I just sent him a message back saying, listen, man, no harm, no foul. We just had a disagreement of opinion. I'm fine with that. I'm a big boy. I'm sorry. And I even said, I'm sorry you had a really bad experience with the game. I always, even people who know that I've slated Crisis on the Planet of the Apes, rip that, don't knock twice. I always want people, if they decide to buy the game, I always hope they have a great experience with the game, that they find fun in that game that I was unable to to find. So I don't hold it against anyone if they turn around and say you don't know what you're doing or anything. It's the way I look at it. It's a difference of opinion. I didn't like it. You did. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Enjoy your game. I didn't. Now, did say this on my Looking for Unicorns show, so I'm going to quickly bring this up before we move on, and for what you want. Because this is my first ever refund of a game on Oculus Quest, I thought I would go and have a quick look at my PlayStation VR games. The games that I didn't get on with, I hated, I didn't like, and if Sony had a refund policy, I would have got games refunded. And there's going to be games in this that a lot of people would be shocked at and going, well, you're a twat and don't know what you're talking about. But these are games that if there had been a refund policy, I would have got a refund on.
So,
Evasion, Blasters of the Universe, Killing Floor Incursion, Eden Tomorrow, The American Dream, Sprint Vector, Crisis on the Planet of the Apes, Gungrave VR, Don't Knock Twice, Tiny Tracks, and David Attenborough's First Life. There's also about a dozen games that I've been given by developers that I didn't like. I won't go through those titles, but I will go through two because that has affected me. I slated Raw Data on PlayStation VR, and Servios have blackballed me since. And also I slated Cold Iron, and I had an interview set up with the developer of Cold Iron. It's a Western game.
I remember. Yeah.
And I didn't get on with that. Literally the developer didn't return any of my emails or anything like that, because I was going to have like a developer interview segment. Because that kind of fell through, I just never moved on. But yeah, so they would have been games that, and as I say, I know there's games in there that people absolutely adored, think that some of the best on PlayStation VR. I just didn't get on with them, and like I say, if Sony had a refund policy, I'd have claimed a refund on those games.
Yeah, I mean the beauty of other channels, other opinions, and I know me and Nat vary quite a lot anyway. Salsa, you're generally. You're quite good at most games I know of that I like. You tend to like as well, I think.
Yeah, most there are some differences of opinion, but I'm also a little bit too easygoing sometimes, and I'll go, yeah, I didn't like it. Or if I don't like games, if I'm not doing a first impressions, then if there's something that I don't like but I found people really did like, that I don't go out of my way to go and make a video past something. If I'm doing a live show, then I'll just go, yeah, that's what I think. If it's something that's game breaking, I'll pull it up on it. But yeah, just mostly I'm easygoing. But there are some things I just didn't like, and I think have been some pretty stupid decisions in the past as well.
It's weird because I can't even remember. I know there's a couple of games. I think Rage Room was probably... I actually went out of my way to make a review video of that. And I don't do review videos because it was so bad and it was bloody quite expensive. And I thought, this isn't right. Like, this game is not good at all in any way. And maybe it was good on the very first day of VR when it first came out. People were like, oh, cool, I can stand in the room and hit something that don't hit me back. I didn't get it, and it was quite expensive. But yeah, I'm not going to go into what I disagree and agree with Nat. That's up to him. That's they're his choices, and that's how he feels. But Sal, so you was going to talk about quickly Sairento on PC VR.
PC.
Yeah.
It's an odd thing. I think the first time I played Sairento, or Sairento, depending on how you want to say it, it's very mixed on a PC. You do need a performance PC. It may have changed a bit now. They've optimized it a bit more. But when I first played it, it was a bit messy.
Right.
But as it got a little bit better and the performance side got a little bit better, I started to like it a lot more because the updates actually added a lot more stuff to it.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have like all the backflips and stuff like that. So I played it before all the backflips came into this and all that stuff came into it.
Yeah.
And I was a bit sort of like, and before actual proper smooth motion and stuff like that as well. And I was like, okay, I kind of like it, but it's got some issues. And then later on, I sort of like go to it, and it's just a frantic, unbelievable thing. And that's all I can say from it. It's absolutely frantic. It's
Yeah.
absolutely frantic. If you can think of any single type of combination of, oh my God, did they really make it so I can do that? It's pretty much got it in there. You've got guns, you've got swords, you've got sliding, you've got double jumps, you've got wall runs, you've got double jumps off of wall runs to sliding backflips.
Yeah.
It does all of that, but it is hard to get used to that movement system.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit difficult to get used to that movement system. I'm sorry that you know, especially in that case, where it hasn't delivered on Quest as the Untethered. I still want to. I'm still yet to try it as Untethered, and I kind of been waiting to maybe push a buy button to when I know that I'm going to have like a bigger space to play in. So I'll get one of the big spaces that I can play in. So maybe 20, 30 meters in space.
Yeah.
To set myself up and not use the thumbsticks to turn around or do the smooth loco. I will actually then do the actual walking and running and turning around myself.
Yeah.
Which I think could be a great fun thing to do, and then add the teleporting into the mix. But it is one hell of an experience on PC. But you do, if you want to have it full on, you do need a good PC to play it.
Sweet, man, sweet. Who we got here? So yeah, I've done that, JD. Hello, Danish. How's it going? Everyone's now talking about some of their games that they didn't like, and it has reminded me of some of the actual complete nightmare games. And I'm going to bring one up now. I haven't personally played it. I have no real intention of playing it because when I saw the trailer, I thought this is going to be not very good or not my type of game. It's Medusa and her lover. If you want to see some gameplay of it, I suggest you go and check out Danish Gaming is in his chat now. I believe he's also a mod, so we can put a link to his channel in the description. That'd be great. Danish, please. I watched his stream and it was as bad, if not worse, than I originally thought it would be. So yeah, man. Like, I was watching it this morning and I was thinking, how did this game come to be in? I honestly didn't get it. Looked, and he summed it up really well. It was jarring to watch, like, let alone be in that headset as well. It was just like flipping all over the place, and I was thinking, I didn't really understand what was going on. And then I know it's supposed to be like a co-op game, I think, but you can play it on your own, and co-op games do work. ICO is a thing for that. You know, you can be the other character or help the other character and do things. But and there are other games I've played where you're using both joysticks maybe to control someone and do stuff. This looked awful, to be fair. Like, so I mean, as I said, Danish has just said, "Oh, it was so bad, it was laughable." Put a link to your video in the description, dude, and then people can check that out. If not, put it on Twitter and I'll retweet it, whatever you want to do. But I very much doubt that I'll be playing it. What about you two?
I have no intention of playing that, but where Danish has just said it's so bad, it's laughable, reminds me of a game that I brought off the Hong Kong PSVR store called City Avenger, which is honestly awful, but it is so funny. Honestly, I couldn't stop laughing playing the game, and it is actually one of those where it is so bad, it's
cringeworthy.
You just got to carry on playing. Yeah, it was worth getting the game because I was laughing my ass off during the whole thing. So, but yeah, so I haven't seen Danish's stream. I might take a look at that tonight.
But that's what Tim
but the actual
saying
trailer,
as well.
The trailer didn't sell it for me.
No, not at all.
Whereas something like oh God, I forgot the title. It's coming to Quest. Main. I think it's called Main, which kind of looks like a Team Ico type game coming to the Quest.
Yes. Yeah, that looks brilliant. I know what one you're talking about.
The trailer sold me on that game, even though it didn't really give me a lot of gameplay. It was just like, you know what? I like the look of the world. It reminds me of Team Ico games. I love Team Ico games. I'm buying that game.
Yeah.
Whereas Medusa, I looked at it and it's just like, why would I buy this?
No, I mean,
Move on to the next
I
one.
think he got a code. I can't remember if he said in the stream. I hope he didn't buy it, to be honest, because then not only has he not wasted his money, he's also saved other people's money, which is ultimately amazing. Someone's just, I think they might have got rid of him in the chat about shaving parts of your anatomy. You might be gone now. I'm not sure.
Fair enough.
It's been hidden.
Has he gone? All right, cool. I was going to say there is a hairdressing game in VR. I don't know if you wanted to try that out. So, yeah, cheers for that, Danish. Thank you for.
Well, something was there. Yeah, no, yeah.
Is he gone?
I was going to say actually, no, he's still there, but one of his other messages got thinged off.
Oh, right.
Going back to the co-op things, I mean, Medusa has a co-op feature, like you're saying, and there's another game that's coming out soon to PSVR that has been on PC VR, which has the VR co-op thing, which is Carly and the Reaper Man.
Oh yes, that looks cool. I like the look of that.
Yeah, it does look really cool. The really odd thing, I've never played, so when I'm doing VR, it's at home most of the time. I don't really have any other gamers that are around at the same time. The weird thing is, Carly and the Reaper Man on PC, you had to be local co-op. It was a local co-op only.
Right.
I'm hoping they fixed that for PSVR. I'm hoping they kind of would do that again for PC, because it's supposed to be a really good game, and it does actually genuinely look like a good, fun co-op game.
Yeah.
So, possibly one to look out for if you want some co-op VR gaming. Carly and the Reaper Man. So, yeah. Co-op to go online definitely is, you're right, Danish. Co-op to go online is definitely something that needs to be there.
Well, saying that, it reminds me, I contacted the developer and I forgot the full title. It's Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, I think is the title of the game.
That's good.
I played that once. I had a friend round at the time and we played it for about 20 minutes. And I thought it was a really fun experience. And I actually contacted the developer about that. And I said, have you got any plans to offer an online component? So somebody, I can get someone online to, play the person that's seeing the instructions while I'm looking at the bomb.
Yeah.
And they just turned around and said, no, we're not going to do that. And I thought that was such a loss. Because a bit like, what Salsa was saying there, there is times where, you don't have anyone that can play a game, or maybe they wouldn't find playing that game fun. Whereas you might Salsa might turn around to me and say, oh, I got Carly and the Reaper Man. Do you want to download this thing and take over the second role, the non-VR role? Yeah. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, that'd be fine.
Nice, dude. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. So we're now going to move on to the Space Junkies update that happened this week. Now, personally, I thought this was absolutely amazing. I love the game anyway, but this definitely took it up another notch. Man, I love Golden Gun style games. I love that insta-kill, one-shot kill. I love that. It's got 3v3. It's got a new character. It's got some. I must have missed it on the last update because they've been quite quick of adding updates. They're doing like episode by episode, and it's on sale a lot as well. And at the moment, it's absolutely brilliant. Like, to me, I absolutely love this game. I think it's fantastic.
It's on sale on Steam right now as well, because you got the Steam sale is on at the moment.
Yeah, and it's pretty good.
Some cheap games, of course. Steam, there's a pile of VR games on the PC side, and this is one that is on sale, and like you say, it's got that update.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's on sale on everything. It's on sale on Oculus, and it's on sale on the PlayStation VR version as well.
And it's cross-platform.
Yeah,
so that's good that it's on sale on all places at the same time.
Man, like, in my opinion, this game, and it's a bit like Starblood Arena in a way, like,
better than Starblood.
No, it is better. But when people talk about a multiplayer game, Starblood had a lot of boxes ticked that you wanted. Do you know what I'm saying? It had, like, proper locomotion for me. It weren't like putting safety wheels on. You could actually do proper 360 spins and all that stuff. It had eight player multiplayer when people were playing, unfortunately. But it had AI as well. Like, this didn't have AI. You couldn't play bots. If there was no one online, you weren't playing with anyone. So they've included that as well now. So yeah, like, I can't. There you go. So DX Falcon has just said on End Dreams there's a 50% sale on the Steam, all their titles, which is nice to know. But the sale on Steam in general is pretty good. I played the Forest VR last night. I picked that up for £9. I've got Fallout 4 VR to try at some point. Picked that up quite cheap. So yeah, if you're on Steam, check that out. And as Nate just said, Space Junkies is on sale on the PlayStation Store, and I think if there's ever a time that you should jump into it, now is it.
It is there, yeah. I have run across one bug in there, though, by the way. So occasionally you might load into a game and it won't take you into the arena bit. And then you just go back to the lobby and go back in, you'll be fine. Because you get games pretty damn quick with that.
Yeah, and do you know what happened to me was, I think it was not Drunk Gamer, Donkey Gamer, his dad, he's on stream sometimes. He come across the same thing as me, where you start in your tunnel, you went out, and it didn't load you into the level.
That's what
in space. Yeah, so then I was looking down, and I thought, what's that? And I flew down for ages, and I ended up going in. I found the level with all the other players, and this massive alien thing in like a fish tank outside the level. I was like, what the hell is this? It was actually a really cool glitch. I really enjoyed it. So. Sorry, Nat, it looked like you wanted to say something. Sorry.
Yeah, obviously I don't have Space Junkies because I didn't get on with the original beta, but I did want to keep bringing up, and it's a point I brought up many times. I do think a lot of these companies that make these online-only games do miss out on a lot by not doing free weekends. So, like, you've had a couple of free weekends this weekend with Firewall Zero Hour. You said that it's kind of gone tits up on that. But also you've got like Monster Hunter World, the Iceborne beta has gone live for a couple of days, and I think if you want to get people to try the game, especially because, like I say, with PlayStation VR there is no refund policy. No. So like for me, I'm still very hesitant. I understand what you guys are saying. Oh, it's so much better than it was in the beta, but I really didn't get on with it in the beta, and it's just like, okay, it is $15.99. But I don't look at it as, well, I'm saving £9. Yeah. I'm looking at it that if I get it and I still don't like it, I've just wasted £16.
Yeah.
I think if the developer had actually done a free weekend this weekend on the game, plus the discount as well, running over that period of time, you'd have got a lot of people playing it. Because I'd have downloaded it again, give it a try. Like I say, I'm a whore when it comes to free stuff. Give me free stuff, I'll try it. Don't bother me. So I'd have given it a try. And as I say, I always bring up Splatoon 2 as the bit where initially I played the beta before it launched, didn't get on with the game at all. And then Nintendo did a free week online. You also got Nintendo Online. Now, initially I did it because I was just like, well, I'm still not going to enjoy Splatoon 2. But guess what? I'll take the Nintendo Online service for a week and give that a try, see if it's worth getting.
Yeah.
And that was my intention, but obviously I downloaded Splatoon 2 as well and started playing Splatoon 2 the second time, absolutely fell in love with it, and it is now my favourite game on the Nintendo Switch. I think the guys who make Space Junkies have missed a big opportunity by not offering free weekends. If they want to get their player base up, that's the simplest way of doing it. Let people play the game, see what the game is now, and if they enjoy it, guess what? They'll buy it.
It's weird.
They've never done a weekend. At least they've never done a weekend on PlayStation VR. They might have done it on PC because that's a fairly regular thing.
Yeah, they do on because you have like Oculus. They have like free weekend games that happen quite regularly.
Raw Data was this week's, I believe.
Raw Data is this week's. Yeah.
Don't tell Nat.
So they do a combined thing where, Nat's laughing on that one. But obviously the PC side is different than the PSVR side on Raw Data.
Yes, it is.
But it's a case of they do like a free game and sometimes it combines a sale in there or something.
Nice. Yeah. Just want to do a quick shout out. We've got in the chat now, we've got Scooby Dave, JRB, the Game Cat. Thank you for joining us. I think we said hello to Void Cat. Gameplay this, welcome. Midlife. Who else? Have I got everyone else in the chat? I hope I've said hello to everyone. Richard Oakley, Scooby Dave.
Danish, I just want to point out this. Danish is asking about Phantom. It's Covert
yeah.
Ops, by the way.
Yeah.
Danish, not Spec Ops. He's asking, please tell me that it's winging its way to PlayStation VR. It's not. It's an Oculus paid-for game.
Yeah.
So it will only be coming to the Oculus Rift and the Oculus Quest.
Just to let you know.
Sorry about that. I don't want to give you bad news, but
no, man. Just to let you know, DX Falcon in the chat is one of the devs of the guys doing Phantom Ops.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. I am a complete, stealth guy. They're my favourite types of games.
Yeah.
So Phantom, Covert Ops, really looking forward to that. Aspire 1, and I know you've spoken to the devs.
Yeah.
I am so looking forward to that game. So
it made me laugh, man. Like, I put that on Reddit, and I'm sure people. I mean, I'm not. This is no. Maybe the interview wasn't interesting enough. I don't know, but they must have only watched a certain portion of it. They were like, "Oh, I'm not really into slow stealth games," and I was like, "Dude, in that video is a guy speed running the whole bloody thing." Like, and I loved that because it's an option. You know what I mean? It's varying gameplay. I was like, "How can you?"
And it's probably someone who goes, "Oh, I loved Splinter Cell," and you'd be like, "What?" But you don't do it in VR. Are you crazy? But yeah, I think that these are they're two games that are definitely worth looking out for. It's definitely ones that I'm kind of like going, these seem interesting because they are a bit more different to the norm.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I mean, obviously it's getting a little bit off topic, but the Spire 1, I think there's a couple of bits that are really exciting me about it. One of the things is the way they're doing movement to try and make it as accessible to people as possible. I think that's really clever, really exciting. But I also like the little things, like being able to hold up somebody, walk behind them, and it's like hands up. Using the mic and stuff like that. And I think a lot of games don't actually, especially on PlayStation VR, because it's got the built-in mic, I don't think they utilize the mic as much as they can. So, I think that's one of the reasons why Aspire 1, I'm so excited for that particular game. Besides, like I say, I absolutely adore stealth games. I love taking my time with something. I have one of my friends who can't stand stealth games. He's going, how can you spend 20 minutes setting something up? Rather than just run in there and run and gun. And it's just like, I just like the intricacies and the challenge of, can you set it up? And yes, you might take 20 minutes to do to actually get through that particular section. And then you get that through that particular section. It's like, damn, did it. And you get this really good rush.
Yeah, man.
When you pull it off. So
rush.
To the developer, really looking forward to your game. Can't wait for that one. I really want to play it, and definitely will be downloading that day one.
Nice. Salsa, is that a wine bottle you're drinking? It looks huge. What is that?
It's the camera angle.
Oh, bloody hell, man. I was like, Jesus Christ. What the hell?
Wine bottle. It's not a wine bottle. Come on.
I was like, bloody hell. Yeah.
It's my normal cider. It says fruity cider.
Nice, dude. Nice.
It's a hot day. You want a nice fruity cider.
Oh, absolutely, man. I had some Copperberg gin earlier. I had a bit of that earlier to try. That's pretty cool. Everyone's talking about raw data now. Me personally, I actually really like raw data, but at the time of me playing it, I think there was a glitch on episode 5. And also certain levels don't work with certain characters. I found it quite difficult. To be fair, what's his name? Who's the guy with the pistols? He begins with a B, I think his name. He was my favourite character. I personally really like Raw Data. I love that game, but I've never played it anything else other than PlayStation VR because I never really felt the need. Right, I'm going to move on to Fuji now, which I think come out on... I don't know if it was on Steam. I don't know if anyone can check, but I know it's on Oculus Store. And I played
it did come out on Steam.
It did, cool. I played it on the Quest. I don't know if it's due out on PlayStation at all. I don't know.
I'm not sure on that one. I know obviously it's got released on Steam for Oculus Quest HTC 5. I've downloaded it. I haven't got a chance to play it. I also got to thank the developers because they've actually granted me a code on that game.
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Midlife. Thank you ever so much. Bishop, that's the one. Void, thank you, man. Void Cat, cheers, dude. Yeah, Salsa, have you checked this out at all?
I haven't. I've seen the a bit of the trailer. It's not been on my radar. I've been looking at some of the car games a bit more as well at the moment. But we're just watching the trailer there. It's I do like all the stuff that actually has you with another character. I do like that aspect of VR where you have a sense of companionship, and that does look like it has that sort of feels to it as well, doesn't it?
There's something, if you liked Flower, there's something about this, apart from obviously the flowers, there's something mystical or magical about this game. Like, and it's weird. So, I wasn't sure if I wanted to check it out or not, actually, and it sounds so strange, until I actually played it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I played it and I thought, wow, this is really immersive. Like, great use of music.
It does look it.
Colours. Everything sort of, like, not everything, but a lot of things are interactable. The flowers seem to have like you remember holographic stickers of like He-Man or whatever when you were younger? Some of the flowers have that. The petals will have like a holographic depth to them. And this is on the Quest version. I haven't played anything else, the Quest version. Graphically, it was very good. And it was very colourful, cel-shaded. I think it's a great looking game. My daughter played it, because it looks like the sort of thing maybe not an alpha male would enjoy. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a gardeny sort of game. But funny enough, it's quite kind of Alice in Wonderland-ish. You've got the little character there. He's quite cool. You can sort of tap him on the head and do things. And the puzzle elements seem to increase. The more and more I played it, the more it seemed to, I guess, raise in difficulty. You know, it wasn't just quite straightforward. And it's one I would recommend that people try out, because we can say that on the Oculus because you've got the 2-hour refund policy. So it might not be,
which is fantastic. Yeah,
it might not be like it's like every game has a demo almost. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool.
It does look kind of interesting. I do I like that graphical style.
Yeah.
I certainly do like that graphical style sometimes. Some of these styles that do look colourful and quite simplistic, but they have a nice flow to them, really do work well in VR.
Yeah.
I think one of the games that's kind of unappreciated in some ways, that looks really good but hasn't got much players, like Jetix or something like that.
Yeah.
Looks really good in this style. And it's not as fancy as that Jetix, but completely different game type. But that sort of graphical style works really nicely in VR.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game, and
I mean, I'm looking forward to it big time, to actually jumping in. So they're my type of games. I definitely like a slow paced game. Don't get me wrong, I'm really looking forward to Pavlov and Onward coming to Oculus Quest as well, because I like myself some shooters. But as you said, Chris, I'm a huge fan of Flower by Sony, and I think that's actually going to be coming to PC soon as well, which would be good for PC owners. But yeah, so I when I first saw the trailer for it, I was just like, no, that's actually something I kind of would like. I do like these cutesy, very stylistic looking games. So I'm really looking forward to jumping in. I was hoping to be able to jump into that this weekend. Things have conspired against me, but yeah, I'll definitely be playing that most probably tomorrow evening.
Nice.
So I'll be streaming that. So I'm looking forward to putting a stream. And I am actually positive about some games, guys. I'm not always a miserable curmudgeon.
and anyone who watches you knows that, so it doesn't, it's all good. It's all good. But and also the bit of this trailer that shows you like the real world bit mixed in with the game graphics, I haven't come across that. Okay. I don't know. It's in the trailer, and I thought that'd be brilliant, like to see in VR, to be in that real world scenario and have game graphics there as well, but that doesn't happen. And how long is it? Unfortunately, I don't know. In my stream, I think I played it for maybe an hour. I've done a double stream of Richie's Plank Experience, which, if you're looking to get that as well, I thought it graphically better than PlayStation VR, and there's been updates which I think are also on PlayStation VR, so don't hold back on getting that. And obviously on the Quest you can share it more, You can take it wherever you like and chuck down a wooden plank, and you're good to go. So don't be thinking it's a lesser experience because it's on mobile. It isn't. I thought it was actually good fun. So yeah,
Sorry. An interesting point as well that's in the stream there that Falcon was talking about as a benchmark for VR, that generally if a game looks worse than Half-Life did on the PC, so the original Half-Life, but in VR, so if something like looks worse than Half-Life, then it's not right. If it looks better than that, then it's okay for VR. I mean, how much does
yeah, but you say that, man. Look at the Quest. Look at Sairento. I've had, out of all the games I've played on Quest, right, that is the one game where people have had the most amount of comments on the graphics out of any game. That's the first, like, everyone's going, this is worse than PS2, this is worse, and Half-Life was before the PS2 anyway, I believe.
Well, the thing is, I've never been obsessed with graphics, and the game that I always bring up, and it's a game I really wish I'd spent more time with, or I was able to spend more time with, is the one by Strange Game Studios, Honor and Duty D-Day.
Right.
Graphically, it's not the anything special.
It's
but
great fun.
But gameplay wise, it's a whole different level. It is so much fun. But I'll tell you what about Honor and Duty D-Day is Reggie's really clever. Who's the developer? In what he did, he made it aim controller compatible, but you could also use a move controller as a secondary weapon. No one had done that. I don't know why no one had actually thought of that, who was a bigger developer. No, it took a small developer to... and actually being asked by a friend of ours, Seraphim190, saying, would it be possible to do it? And he just was like, I have no idea. Let's try it. And he's tried it. And it was, like I say, on a pure gameplay level, it's one of the best games out there, especially if you like first-person shooters. It's 100% on PlayStation VR. It's definitely one of the best first-person shooters out there. But some people will not be able to get beyond the graphical side of it. And the way I look at it is, gameplay-wise, it's absolutely brilliant. And I just look at it as it's a stylistically type of graphical thing. And I can live with that as long as I'm having fun with the game. And that's always been my biggest thing. Am I having fun with this game? If the answer is yes, I'll continue playing it. If the answer is no, I'll get a refund or sell the game on.
Yeah, just to state, Honor and Duty with Reggie, he has pushed it in a way like, I remember being on Firewall telling someone about a online game that uses the aim controller. It's got vehicles, it's got rocket launchers, and it's got 32 players online. They told me, their words were, nah, man, that's impossible. That's what they said. And I was like, well, I just finished playing it. Like, it's real, it's out there, and it's under a tenner. I think it's about, it's crazy.
Well, Perp Games are bringing out a physical version of it, which is really, I tell you what, if I was a game developer, I'd be doing bloody back sorts getting a physical version of my game out.
Yeah.
So I bet Reggie's absolutely, cock-a-hoop. Like I say, also I want to give a bit of a shout out to Reggie because he's always been really cool to YouTubers big and small.
Yes.
So he's always given us time. So and the same with Perp Games as well. I want to, I'll give them a huge shout out because again, it doesn't matter if you're a small YouTuber or a big YouTuber, they will give you they'll answer your questions and queries, and they've all given us codes and games and stuff. So sometimes there are, you get reminded there are really good people out there. And that love VR just as much as we do.
It's the same thing, dude. Like, everyone starts somewhere. And it's the same. I get, like, if you've got a game and it doesn't fit the channel, like, I would never just give out a code to a channel without checking it out if I was a developer. I'd be like, what's this guy like? Is he any good? Does he fit our... What is he just what we're looking for? I don't think I'd look at the following, personally. Because I think VR is too small to do that still. I think the reason Beat Saber's so big... not because it's not great. I think it's also the amount of people who make content for it. The videos on Beat Saber. I mean, that's how I discovered it. It wasn't through a store. It wasn't through talking to anyone. It's through YouTube and gaming videos. Was watching streamers play it. So, yeah.
Pets is asking if Honor and Duty will come to the Quest. I don't think Reggie was able to get a Quest development unit initially, so I'm not sure where he's where he's standing with that at the moment.
But it is coming to the Rift. He's coming to Oculus, and it is going to be cross-platform.
Okay.
So
Well, that's cool.
it's really cool.
One of the other great things about that game, and you said touched on it straight away as well, the multi-control. I mean, I play Honor and Duty D-Day with an aim controller and a move controller, and I've actually got an old school pistol holster at my waist for the move controller. So when you're playing your aim, when you run out of bullets or you've got someone who's just off to your side, you can just grab the move out of your holster and there's a handgun straight in your hand to really just get them on that final thing. And it's great, the immersion doing that, regardless of the graphics, just being able to go, right, into the holster, bam.
Yeah.
So good.
Just talking about graphics or DX Falcon, but I think that's why hyper-stylized graphics work so well on the Quest. Games like Superhot make me jump to handheld a lot more than something like a hypothetical Quest port of Arkham would. And he's absolutely right. I think Superhot, I still say, is best played on the Quest. I absolutely love it on the Quest.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
And that is purely graphically it looks as great as it did before, maybe a little bit sharper, but it's not that. It's the non-wire thing. It's the freedom of the tracking, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, this game absolutely works on here better than anything else.
Did you get to play it on a much bigger space as well yet?
Dude, the space you're looking at is pretty much it. Like, apart from when I done that filming in the woods, that's about the biggest space I've ever had.
Yeah, if you something like a squash court would probably be good. Or a tennis court or something like that, an indoor sports hall for the Quest. An indoor sports hall is an epic amount of space, and games like Superhot and anything like that on the Quest, sports hall is just so good.
Yeah.
Dead and Buried 2, I'm yet to play Dead and Buried 2, which I know you played, Chris, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's an absolutely fantastic game. It's got House of the Dead vibes. It's co-op as well. I'd love to do a stream with someone doing some co-op on that. I think it's a great game. I think it's a really good game.
Well, the funny thing is, I was going to get Dead and Buried 2 from Thing, and I think, Chris, you turned around and said it didn't have free motion.
Oh, are you talking about Sorry, did you say Dead and Buried, or did you say
Dead and Buried 2?
Right.
I remember sending you a message on Dead and Buried 2 saying, "Oh, I'm looking forward to Dead and Buried 2." And I'm sure you sent me a thing saying, "Oh, it doesn't have free motion." And I was just like, "Oh, come on! It's a multiplayer FPS game. How has it not got free motion? It's got sticks, for God's sakes."
There's another game. I'm sorry. I thought you took... Right, okay. I was talking suddenly about Drop Dead. Yeah? So, Drop Dead popped into my head. Forget that. Yeah, so I'm going to go back to Dead and Buried 2. It is actually really good fun online. Very good fun.
It does have free motion.
Right, so there's two things that are wrong with it.
There's two things on it.
It's got click turning. But it has got
that.
And positional audio, unless they've updated it, wasn't right. So I'd be standing in front of you saying that over here, it wouldn't mean anything. You would, unless you saw me, you wouldn't know where the sound comes from. And in a multiplayer game, you add to that steps, guns, and in VR, I don't think I've ever come across a game without 360 sound in VR, and it is really weird. Like, it just sounds like stereo, and you're playing it.
They've messed the sound up.
It sort of killed the immersion a lot for me. So yeah, I played it on my own. It was pretty bad online. The controls, the sound. I was like, now's not the time to get this game. It needs to be updated. It needs to be fixed. And but I played it online recently with Brutal and stuff. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. But to go back to Drop Dead, and just because I brought it up in my head, Drop Dead is like a House of the Dead style game. And it's actually really good. I really like it. I think it's a great game.
Yeah, I like. If you want to play co-op on Drop Dead, I'll jump in with you on that because I really enjoy that game.
Yeah, I've got to do some co-op on it. I think it's a great game. I love games like that. I don't mind it.
Can your back handle it? Carrying me that far.
Yeah, I think I'll be all right, man. I think I'll be all right. Would be good. There was one more thing that's on the list that Nat wanted to talk about, was the account.
Yeah. Obviously, we got a couple of games coming out next week. One for PlayStation VR, which I'm fairly interested in. I most probably will get it, which is Scrapper for Strike, which looks okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in that. However, there's a game coming out for the Quest, which I already own on PlayStation VR, and I am going to be double dipping on, which I cannot wait to play on the Quest, and that is Accounting Plus, because I like games that make me laugh.
Yeah.
I don't laugh a lot too much in my real life, so being able to laugh in a game, whether it's Trover Saves the Universe or Accounting Plus, is fantastic. Obviously, I know they're always updating Accounting Plus as well, putting new content in and new Easter eggs and special bits and stuff. So Accounting Plus will be launching on July 4th for everyone that's got a Quest. I would recommend to anyone if you want to have a bit of a laugh, although you've got to have a certain sense of humour. If you like Rick and Morty and that sort of stuff, and you like Trover Saves the Universe, you'll definitely love Accounting Plus. Yeah, like I say, I'm really psyched about that. It's really weird to me that Quest do leave some of their games very late for announcements, though, because we had the same thing with Sairento. It only got announced a few days prior, Accounting Plus. But then you've also got something like Republic VR, which is, again, stealth game. I'm really looking forward to playing that. I know it's a Go port, but I'm still looking forward to it. That's been announced well over a month out. So I don't think Oculus kind of get what we want. You know, we kind of want release dates as ASAP, but you know, it does look like occasionally, especially with like Sairento, I know that they only got the green light 3 days or 4 days before it was due to launch. So
right,
maybe Oculus do need to look at that. But yeah, so Accounting Plus is coming. If you haven't got it on another platform and you own an Oculus Quest, I think that's definitely a game you want to have a look at to possibly purchase.
And I completely agree with that. Completely agree with it. I think it's fantastic, and it'll make you interested, especially if you like the Rick and Morty sense of humour and stuff like that. It is absolutely great. My missus loved it. She done an actual stream on that one. She doesn't stream many games, but yeah, it's as Nat's saying, everything he said, absolutely, he's absolutely correct. It's a great game. You played it, Salsa? You played Accounting Plus?
Rick and Morty?
No, the Accounting Plus game.
I haven't. It's much to my disgrace, I'm afraid, on both that and Rick and Morty and
Whoa,
Trover.
You haven't played Rick and Morty? And you haven't played Trover?
No.
Why?
I've got so much...
He's got no humour in him. He's got a black soul.
He's full of microchips and RAM.
Yeah.
Gamers do it with more RAM.
It's really like different bits where these have come out where I've gone, right, I'm doing a race weekend this weekend. I'm doing that this weekend. And I go, I'm not going to spend money on something, because if I didn't get a code for something, I'm not going to spend money on getting something where I'm going to go, well, I know I'm doing this over the weekend, and then it gets left there. I did on a few games that I've still got on the back burner from ages, like a year ago, that I bought with my own money.
Yeah.
And I still haven't played because I was playing something else, because the release schedule now is so ferocious.
Yeah.
And then I've games that obviously I play that actually do require a concentrated amount of dedication to get anywhere.
Yeah, you're not the type of streamer who just plays all the newest titles and stuff. If you want to play a game, or you are part of a racing challenge or a team, that's what you'll be doing. And like JD was saying, he is a racer, and that actually makes sense. And on a realistic note, if you don't like the sense of humour of Rick and Morty, you will not like this game. That seems to be quite clear cut.
I've seen Rick and Morty. I tried to look at the animations as well when it was on VR, and I wasn't quite getting on with the animation. Accounting Plus and Trover, on the other hand, I was looking at some streams of like Trover, and yeah, I think if I get in Trover, I will laugh my arse off. But Rick and Morty, I was like, but Trover is so far out there that I would definitely like it.
Yeah, I think Trover's probably, out of the Rick and Morty, Accounting Plus, and that is probably the easiest and best game they've done. Personally, for me, if I was going to recommend one of those style of games, it'd be that one, because it is a platform as well, and as we all know, and I think you agree, VR and platformers work amazingly well.
Yeah.
I think they're best in VR actually.
It's one of those crazy things that everybody goes, why would you put a platformer in VR?
Oh
And you know, from
man,
the early days of VR, people went, why on earth would you put a platformer? It's the same with the bash ups, like what do you call it? Zombies one, in Dreams game.
yeah. No, got in Dreams. He's in here. The
He is
zombie
in it.
one. Oh,
Yeah,
what the side beat 'em up.
yeah.
Oh crap! I know what you're on about. I've played it. It's on PSVR. Bloody zombies. It was a pain in the ass to stream
Bloody
because
zombies.
on PlayStation you have to follow a guide to stream it. It's like what? But it's a good game.
Well, on
Yeah, Falcon
PlayStation,
just put it in there, so.
yeah, the problem is with Bloody Zombies is that as a game, you only see the 2D version on a 2D screen when you're streaming it. And when you're in the VR, it only ever showed the social screen as the 2D screen.
Right.
And I think it's the same on PC, but you could play that as cross-platform as well, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
The funny thing is with games like that is how many games where you look at it and sort of say, well, that shouldn't really work in VR. So the one that I always go to, the game that I always tell people, please buy it, to show some love to the developer, but also it's a wonderful game. Might only last an hour is The Lost Bear. I think Lost Bear is one of the most amazing experiences in VR. And when you explain to someone what The Lost Bear is, they're going, why would you play that in VR? But it's only, again, like with, and we've said this so many times, it's only when you experience it in VR. It suddenly clicks. Like if you turned around to someone and said, what about Astrobot? A bit like what Sal's saying. Why on earth would you play a platformer in VR? Why would it work? Yeah. But then you play Astrobot and you're just like, oh, that's so clever. Oh, I never thought of that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Even something like I was mucking around with a vacation simulator and I was just burying my head in the water. And that was just really fun. It was just like, man, it's funny. And it's just like the stupidest thing in the world. And that's actually kind of why I like the Job Simulator and Vacation Simulators. I still want to buy Job Simulator on the Quest because I want to see how it controls on the Quest. I think I'd have a better gaming experience with it on the Quest than I will with on PlayStation VR. So
that's cool, JD. He's put Lost Bear 2 is coming out at some point.
Unless
he's made that up.
I think he's just mucking around.
Oh,
it's
man.
It's a different game. They have got another game coming out. Same developer, Little Bug, big, whatever Bug Studio it's called.
Right.
They have got another game coming out which looks like the same art style and the same sort of direction as Lost Bear, but it's bigger, side shooter type of game. The way that I always described Lost Bear was, right, do you ever go to like a theatre show? Can you imagine a side-scrolling, platformer as a theatre show?
That's it. I was waiting for that.
That is what VR does.
I was waiting for that, man. Yeah.
It gives you a gaming experience that feels like you're sitting in a theatre.
Yeah.
That changes.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that because that's what it felt like. And in a way, I was a little bit. It gave me a bit of a horror feel, a scare feel, because I genuinely felt like I'm in a big theatre on my own, and there's a massive gap behind me. That was the weird bit, and I was just like, "What's going on behind me?"
When the different pipes come up and do things as well and stuff like that, and you've got the odd little creatures that are hanging around at the edge of your vision, the crows with their eyes just sort of looking at you as you're sneaking through this dark woods. It had that wonderful sense of dread that you have as a child reading some of the grim fairy tales and things like that. They have a dark edge to them. They have some substance there.
Yeah, for sure.
VR brought that substance in.
Yeah, absolutely. People are talking about Moss as well. It is an absolutely fantastic game. I'm sure we all, and Nat's, but I know Nat wants to say how much he loves that game. Nat was one of the people that when I found out about Moss and I played it, I was like, wow, I wonder who else knows about this game. And Nat was one of the people I come across, and he absolutely adores Moss. And I completely agree. And I think playing it on the Quest is a fantastic way to play it as well. And it was weird. I was actually playing it laying in bed, and I was looking down. I'm playing it on my front, and it was weird, man. Like, obviously, I'm looking at a bed, but I had a whole little town, and all it. It was so weird. It was just so different doing it on the Quest. There is a couple of graphical, I'd say, enhancements that are missing. Like the water probably doesn't look quite as good, but Moss is a beautiful, great game, and now you've got the free DLC as well.
It's come out on all platforms now.
yeah.
The Twilight Garden, yeah. So
I've got to get into that yet again.
well, the thing is with Twilight Garden, and again, I think it's actually very clever the way the developer's done it. It's split into 3 parts, and it's 3 parts within the standard game. So you've actually got to play through the standard game again. Not a bad thing. It's a wonderful game to play through.
Yeah.
And the 3 parts are in 3 different sections. So I've still only found the one so far. I need to find the other 2.
I was quite lucky, well, unlucky at the same time. I spoke to the developer and he sent me basically the save game of every single 3rd part. So I haven't even got to travel there. I can just go to the area, and I recorded them all, and I intended to bring them out 1 a week, and I bloody deleted them by accident. So on the channel is only the very first bit, which I think you get the gauntlet. Do you get the new gauntlet in the first bit?
I can't remember what you get.
Or is it the body armor? Because you end up getting a whole suit and a new sword and new moves, and it blew me away. I was like,
I think it might be the sword that you get first of all.
I was like, wow, this is so cool. This is really cool. So if you've got Moss, definitely check that out again. Get your updates on, regardless of what system you're on. Go and play that again. It's absolutely brilliant. So
I have seen somebody on the chat keeps popping up saying Dark Legion game of all time.
Dark Legion is a great game.
Don't get me wrong. I think look, Dark Legion again is one of those bad games, but it's so bad it's
That's
actually
it.
really fun and entertaining.
Exactly,
Especially
the old
with the
Godzilla
girl
movies.
that you first come across, and you're just like, those bosoms couldn't be you in real life.
Commander. That's what she says to you all the time. You're like, Commander. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ, you're doing my nutting. But when you've got like a shield in one hand and you've got a gun as well and you're shooting and stuff, it's fantastic. As a shooter goes, it's really good fun. But yeah, that lady at the beginning, I don't think you'd ever forget that. I'll never forget that lady. Right, let's get on to the very last thing, which I didn't put in the right place, is a little bit of tech which none of us here have actually used yet. But we do know. I know South probably knows some of the specs and stuff, and I've got my thoughts on it because I'm in the VR market. I'm a heavy VR user. This is from IGN. This video, it's like their review. So, how are we doing on this one then? What are we thinking about the Valve Index from what you've heard and what you've seen?
It looks like it's at the moment the premium model for the market that's out there. Higher field of view, higher resolution. The knuckle controllers are revolutionary. So if money isn't an option, unfortunately that is an option for most people, but if money isn't an option, I think if you're going to be in the market for a new VR headset, then I think an Index is definitely something that you'll have to consider. And if Gabe Newell isn't actually trolling us, it does look like it will be coming eventually with a Half-Life game to fully utilize it.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm sure Gabe Newell is actually trolling us.
Oh, dude. So, from my perspective, we was talking about this earlier. It does sound like the ultimate VR headset at the moment. And I said I can't afford it. There's no at the moment. It's not happening for me. I say so. 1 second. But one of the things that held me back on it, and I really like the Rift S, is the fact that I do want the Knuckles. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to try Knuckles. Is going back to wired. So the reason I always thought the Rift S looked really cool is because, and you got the beta tracking, which I think Nat's made a video on, and I've read on Reddit. They've got like this new tracking update that's coming out, and it's made the tracking so much better on the Rift S, and it's coming to Quest as well. I wasn't sure why I want to go back to having wires. You know, like one big cable, that's done, nothing else. But now you're talking with the Valve Index, you're talking about having the lighthouses again. So anyway, Salsa then brought up a counter argument, which was how good the tracking is. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the tracking on this. I mean, it kind of like goes, okay, we've got PSVR tracking. It's usable. It's good. I know there's a lot of people that rail on PSVR tracking, but for the most part, it does what it needs to do. Then you have like inside out based, so that's not quite as precise as the outside in tracking, because you've experienced it. Like you said, there are updates because you've got this occlusion issues,
right?
And then you've got like for the Oculus Rift, the original Oculus Rift, you have a 2 or 3 sensor setup or more. I've got a 3 sensor. Chris, you've only got the 2 sensors.
Yeah, all right, mate. Thanks. Why be like that?
Just for the room scale stuff, that's all. It's still good. But then when you go to the Vive, and it'll be the same on the Index as well, the precision is just there, and it's all room scale. You just feel it immediately.
Really?
Because it works a different way.
Yeah.
Can
you use, if you had a Vive already, I believe you can use the...
If you have a Vive already, you can use the Valve Index controllers. You can buy them as a separate pack. So each part of that you can buy as a separate pack. So you can either buy the new base stations, the 2.0 base stations separately, the headset separately, and the controllers, which we still call Knuckles, even though they're trying to get away from calling them Knuckles.
Yeah.
But the tracking is a particular thing, but it is really aimed at an enthusiast. There's a couple of other issues over the headset as well. I mean, resolution-wise, it does look, it's supposed to look quite good, but there are issues that people are saying about God rays and the sweet spots of these.
Yeah.
And from yourself, probably from going from PSVR to the Oculus Rift, and you're going, what the hell are these white things that are going around everything?
Dude, like, I just remember thinking my Rift was broken. Like, honestly, I'm going for PlayStation VR, you don't realise how actually good you have it. And then you get the Rift, which is I think it's a bit of a higher resolution, or it looks a bit sharper, but it all goes down to the PC and the games on it that make the biggest difference, I feel. But the God rays, dude, I was like, God, that's awful. What is this?
God,
and then, and like most things, you get used to it, and it depends on the game. But yeah, dude, like, and the Rift S apparently has the same thing as the PlayStation VR, where they're reduced, they're very reduced. And
the Vive used to be worse in God rays.
Wow, Jesus!
The original Vive,
right,
versus the Rift. Yeah. God rays, bad. Vive God rays, worse. Rift screen door, is worse than the PSVR.
It is.
Vive screen door, worse than the Rift.
Oh my God! But it was the most expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has some other things about it though, like the tracking being so good that it was room scale. The Knuckles solve one of the other problems for people that originally have a Vive. And that's obviously that the Vive ones are awful. they're not
big
nice
and they're ugly.
They are not nice to hold at all. But then you have so many different issues that are all in the mix here. So there's a couple of people in stream who have brought this up as well. I think there's somebody that's saying about the God rays on the Index were too much for them, or they've got things about black levels because they're big into Elite Dangerous. I don't have a big issue over black levels between OLEDs and like RGB striped screens.
Yeah.
So obviously PSVR is RGB.
Hmm.
Do you have a problem with going from RGB in that to the Quest or the Oculus where the blacks are much deeper? It's not really a big issue. I haven't
No.
ever seen an issue. There are some that brought it up as an issue.
Dude, I read this sort of stuff all the time, and I don't know whether it's just because I love a good screen. I love deep blacks. Like I used to be massive into my tellies. Before. To be fair, actually, VR has taken away my TV money. That was like my tech was TV, and then I like the games and stuff. But yeah, like the PC thing, it does cost, and doing this
Yeah.
the whole thing costs. So yeah, my TV is old now, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the tech, and I appreciate